We're joined now by Uche Ogboi. She's Lorry Systems Chief Operating Officer. Great to have you on the show, my namesake. Now let's talk about the company and its plans going forward. You've been in Kenya for about 4 years now. What has been your experience expanding into a market like Nigeria, especially where the inefficiencies in the logistics sector and the logistics chain are seemingly greater than this region?
Hey, thank you for having me, namesake, Uche. It's been an interesting journey here in Nigeria. Yes, indeed, it is a different market. And I think that just for us presents a bigger opportunity. It's been interesting trying to aggregate both the transporters and the cargo owners in Nigeria. It's a more cash-based economy than Kenya is. And so there are challenges around that, but that's where a platform like ours provides value to both the transporters and the cargo owners. And so all of the challenges that we've seen here present an even greater opportunity for Lorry with a platform that essentially looks to revolutionize the space.
Well, your firm is actually a part of a growing e-logistics and transport space in Africa. Give us a sense of the scale, the amount of investment, product offerings, as well as competition in the sector in Africa right now.
So the logistics space itself is, you see different numbers, but we think it's about 22 billion in size, right? So it's a massive opportunity. And for us, our goal is to essentially bring efficiency to that space with the aim of bringing the cost of moving goods down across the continent. From a scale perspective, we are now currently operating in across 9 countries, with presence in 5 of those countries. And so we are now in West Africa, present in 2 countries, Nigeria and Ghana, and then out of East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia, and moving to 4 other countries in the region. So we're growing quite aggressively. The goal is to become more Pan-African and have a presence in as many countries in in Africa, across the continent, and even frontier markets.
Well, a question for the industry is technology enough to fix Africa's logistics problems going forward? What are the main challenges that firms like yours think need urgent attention in the logistics ecosystem?
Sorry, I missed the question.
My question was, is technology enough to fix Africa's logistics problems? And what are the challenges for companies like yours that need urgent attention in the ecosystem?
So I will say that technology is not all that is required, but of course it brings not just discovery, but through that discovery, we're looking to bring efficiency, right? Logistics in Africa is a massive feat, and it requires an operational side of it as well. We are not naive about that, and we do have an operational angle to our business. But what we try to do is use technology to make those operations more efficient and to bring more visibility to both cargo owners and transporters, and thereby increase utility for the truck assets in the space. Because our view is that the problem is not necessarily a lack of adequate supply, but it's really about utility, discovery and utility. So we want to try and see if we can, our goal is to see if we can unlock what is probably about 10 to 20% utilization and increase that to about 80% to 90%, thereby multiplying the availability of assets by about 4 times. And so our platform enables discovery and utility for those assets, thereby reducing the gap between the demand and supply. So technology in and of itself is not the only problem, but then it does provide significant efficiency to the space, and that's what we're aimed to do.
Now, of course, an industry like yours will be critical to the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which has now been ratified. How do you plan to lend your voice to that discussion? What are your plans to ensure that you're at the forefront of its implementation? And what policy do you think that policy changes do you think we need to see in order for it to work going forward?
Yes, so we are probably one of the companies that sits on the largest amount of data in the logistics space on the continent. And our goal is to provide insight to the government or to governments across the continent using that data to drive policy decisions. And so that's a role that we want. That's a critical role that we want to play in all of the countries that we operate in and all of the countries that we seek to operate in. So we see ourselves as the provider of information, data, and to essentially enable data-driven policies and decisions.
Quite interesting. Well, many thanks for joining us in the studio. Great to have you. Of course, that was Uche Ogboi. She is the Lorry Systems Chief Operating Officer, joining us there in Lagos.